Hey, what's up? It's Greg from Fisherman's Headquarters, and today is Thursday, April 10th. I'm down here in the south end, Holgate, south end of Long Beach Island. Here to share an updated fish report with you folks. Give you guys a little update of what's going on here in the local area. Here on April 10th, we're basically 1/3 into April, and that's also 1/3 done with the April tog season. Tog fishing, land-based, has been okay. There's been some anglers catching some nice ones. Nothing spectacular, but there's definitely anglers picking at them up there on the rocks in Barney Gillette on the north end, fishing the inlet rocks. Heard some other areas land-based as well, also on the north side. Most of that action is going to be on live green crabs. Yesterday, my friend Tony Butch was out of the south end. Said he fished out 65, 70 foot of water. Said his first stop was slow, but he made a move and got on a pretty good bite, had his limit. It's good to see some boats are getting out there. The weather's been kind of up and down. Weather's been kind of shifty. One day it's warm, then it's cold, then it's windy, it's rainy. It's been all over the place. Just about as volatile as the stock market recently. But here I am down the south end of LBI, as you see behind me. That is the wooden jetty, which is now kind of the metal groin. If you check back, say mid-January, one of my reports there's a big beach replenishment that took place here. You'll see the cliffs here on the beach. You'll see the fresh dunes, some new sand that got pumped in here. But last couple swells we had really chewed this beach up. You talk to some, they say it's designed to take some of that sand out and then put that sand further offshore to make a little of a sandbar. I think it's hogwash personally. These jetties are the only thing kind of keeping the sand in here. They basically took out these dunes, but I don't get too far into the beach replenishment talk now. Maybe I'll throw some out towards the end. But wanted to share that the little bit of a chilly water temperature, little bit of a chilly weather temperatures that we've had have chilled off the water temperatures. We did have a good, increase going on. We had a positive trending water temperatures with that warmer weather we had. It was on the chilly side more recently here. I know my heat was on last couple nights. I'm sure maybe inland it was maybe a little different than here on the shore. I know we are, more mild due to the ocean and the bay. But I can share that the water temperatures dropped in the bay, water temperatures dropped in the ocean. Nothing crazy, nothing wild, but it's definitely been an up and down ride. We had a lot of rain. It was pretty dry for a better part of a while, but we finally had a little bit of rain, got some things washed out, heard some debris washing up in different areas. That being said, these striped bass are still chewing in the bay. We've got good action of striped bass. Most anglers are catching on bloodworms. People that are looking to get away from the worms are also catching on lures. Some small lures are doing the trick. When I say small, small is definitely the way to go. Soon things will progress. Got some bigger fish up in the bays and rivers throughout the state. Hearing some reports in Raritan Bay. Looks like a wave of fish moved in there. Moon is this weekend. Seems like we got some things shifting around. Hopefully some drum will start sliding in, or better numbers of drum will be sliding in. Heard us a couple reports. Definitely there's a couple drum that were already caught. Maybe some bluefish and weakfish will show up here in the next couple weeks or sooner. It will depend on the water temperatures, see how things go there. But like I can share right now, there's plenty of tog action, both land-based and in the ocean when that allows. Got the rest of the month there. It's only a 1 month season. Can also share that there is some striped bass action in the bay side. Heard some really good action. Like I mentioned, it looked like a good wave of fish rolled into Raritan Bay. Hearing some good reports up there. Also Delaware River, heard some really good reports there as well. Right now off the surf, you see it's low tide. It's about 1 o'clock on Thursday. Really low tide. Just a small little swell. Got a pretty breezily onshore wind. It'll be kicking up. It looks like we got a little northeast blow. Maybe that will warm things up. Right now the water temperature is about 46 degrees off the beach. When that hits 48 to 50 degrees, that's when things really start grinding. Things kind of kick up. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully that will be sometime in the near future. I have not heard of any drum off the surf. I have not heard of any striped bass off the surf. But I'd be willing to bet sometime after this full moon, say the next week to 2 weeks, you should start seeing some anglers picking some fish off the front beach. Right now, I'm going to try to shimmy my way through the Beach 1 jetty. If you look back at that video I showed in January, there was a lot of sand in here. Now it's all eroded. I can get through here. Hopefully I don't fall and crack my head open because I don't have creepers on. But that being said, if you guys are looking for creepers, we got some corker creepers in the shop. We also have a delivery that is coming I just saw the ship date or ship notification that it just shipped out. It was delayed. I can also share a little shop updates. We do have some fresh clam in. So our first delivery of live surf clam came in today. So we do have live clam in stock right now. Got a beautiful selection of live bloodworms. Also live green crabs. Those are 3 primary baits right now. If you're looking to go after those drum, or you're tired of fishing worms, you want to go a little more affordable price point bait, clam would be a great option, the bay side for bass or drum. Clam is also an option for tog. A lot of times early season tog fishing in April, it's colder water, fish are a little more lethargic, a little slower action than you'd find, say, in the fall season. That being said, a lot of times it's a little more of a softer, more finicky, not as aggressive bite that you'll find this time of year from tog. So anybody who's gone out tog fishing looking for those, say hammering bites, kind of think twice. You might be feeling some of those little smaller taps, little scratches, almost sometimes like a burgal, which you might think it is. But a lot of times the spring tog are not as aggressive. Sometimes you get them fired up. Sometimes you get a good bite going. Yeah, it can be good. But don't overlook sometimes the small little action at first. That's especially off the jetty as well. Right now we are going to have some fluctuating water temperatures in the bay to inlet and ocean, because you've got the ocean right around 46. The water temperature in the bay, depending on the areas, it was almost up to 60 degrees just a couple weeks ago there in the last, say a few weeks. It is in the, depending on the tide, it's in the low 50s, upper 40s, mid 50s, this depending on the spots. With those colder nights, things have cooled off, like I mentioned earlier. But right now we've got the fluctuating water temperatures. Hopefully this northeast wind that we got coming this weekend will kind of blow in some surface warm water temperatures up along the beaches. Hopefully we'll get some more sun, and hopefully we'll progress further into the spring season. I know just on my way down here, I left my house. Some of the blooming trees, the flowering trees are starting to bloom. The ones in my yard are not yet, but my neighbors got them popping. So the dogwoods, the cherries, I'm sure there's a few other ones. I know going way back to the good old days before the days of, say, reports, Uncle Mo, the original Black Cloud, Morris DeGennaro, took me under his wing when I was a kid. He used to spend a lot of time at the shop. He used to take me fishing a lot. Used to have a great fun time with him. He always told me when the dogwoods are blooming, the striped bass and drum are booming. So that was something I always looked for. He didn't have the reports to really chase. He always went by a log and temperatures. Water temperatures, he always said 48 is when you start looking. 50 is when things just start happening. 52 is when it's really, it's going. So I kind of live by those kind of like little themes, little facts. I'm sure different areas may be different. Maybe your own experiences, you have some other ideas what are better or worse for you. But for me, Long Beach Island area, that's kind of where I'm at. I do want to share a little bit on the beach replenishment side of things. I shared that video down here in the very, very frigid cold of January down here at Holgate. I can say that they shifted gears and went up to Harvey Cedars. I can share they started pumping, but it was only about a day or so, if that. I know I saw the dredge was in place, saw the equipment was there, and they were working, but they shut it down pretty quick. I think the dredge had to go somewhere else, so it left town. I went up there yesterday to get some video footage of the beach replenishment action in Harvey Cedars, but it was not happening. I saw a lot of equipment there, a couple workers walking around, but I can share the beach replenishment in Harvey Cedars will be taking place very soon. Something I don't really agree with is the way they're doing the beach replenishment. I don't really want to get into the weeds now. It's a pretty, wish I could spin this camera. I got 3 fighter jets flying by, ripping by. They're kind of still in front of me, but gonna get loud. Actually, 4 of them. They're cranking. So yeah, I'm really not in favor of how they're doing the beach replenishments. As you'll see, the profile in which they designed the beach profile that is laid out, to me, is erroneous. It's not gradual enough. It's not sloped enough. Long Beach Island normally has some beautiful sandbars that are just off the beach. Helps with surfing, helps with fishing. Yes, we've had jetties over the years. Those jetties also essential fish habitat. They also help hold the sand from the littoral drift that's sliding down the beach, cutting down the longshore current. Yes, there's debate whether jetties are good, jetties are bad. But to me, you can clearly see based on history that you put sand there, it moves. You put sand there, it moves. It gets washed away, it gets pulled out by the swell, by the sweeping currents. Most of the time it's the wave action chews it up. You get the higher tides around some of the storms, around the moons, chews up the beach, chews up the dunes, and you're basically left with cliffs. So you see behind me, there's a bunch of dune fence. I'll guarantee it, if I came up here Saturday, Sunday, this weekend, we start getting northeast blow. We'll have that full moon tide. That water will be way, way up there. It'll probably be chewing in this brand new beach. It'll be a big cliff here before you know it. Those large dunes are there to quote unquote protect the beachfront houses from storm surge. But a lot of times when we get those bigger storms, we get those higher flooding events. A lot of times that's bayside flooding that is really the, I would say the killer, but the major damaging factor. Sure, large ocean swells comes from big hurricanes. Fortunately, we haven't got smoked by any of them. Hopefully they don't come this way. But like in Sandy, a lot of times that was bayside that did it all. In my opinion, the way they do things is just not right. It's really for job security. I'm not an expert in this front, but for my take on it, there needs to be some sort of foundation. There needs to be a hard structure, whether that's something as simple as sandbags or bulkheading or some rocks that are more of like a seawall that are down below, calling it a foundation to the dune. And then there needs to be sort of a secondary dune in front of that. Yeah, maybe beachgoers might not want to hike down over one dune and then another dune, but the beaches need to be a little bit larger. They need to be a little more stretched out in profile. And they need to be not as straight and flat as they build them in these projects. You'll see it's almost like a cookie cutter beach. The dune is whatever, raised up to 22 feet, straight down the chute, 120 feet wide, make a big hump, let it rip. To me, all it does is create this massive cliff when it finally gets eroded. You're never going to stop the sand erosion. The slow creep of sea level rise isn't going to stop. To me, putting that sand there over and over, doing the same thing, it's not working. The jetties will hold that sand. Yes, sometimes in the downside current, it chews up, it creates a little more erosion there. But for the most part, these jetties, these hard structures do hold the sand from just sweeping down the beach and ending up in the Holgate Inlet, which if I had my boat in the water or a drone that could go fly down there, something like that, or if Holgate was open, which it's closed right now, closed for birding due to the birds' migration patterns. The Holgate's been closed for a couple weeks. I could show you Horseshoe Island, which is basically an island made with man-made island from all the beach punishment sand that's eroded off of LBI, that it's taken the drift down there and deposited, and the feds claimed it as a bird, say, sanctuary. Don't want to get into that hot topic. Some people will say that, hey, taxpayers' dollars paid for it. It should be, publicly accessible. We should be able to go there and hang out with our boats. But not jumping into that. I just want to kind of share a couple things here. As far as the fish report goes, a little bit of information on the beach replenishment here, a little bit on the massive beaches that I'm walking down, but once again, that is because it is around the full moon. Full moon's in a day or so. Today's the 10th. I think it's the 11th or 12th or 13th. I think it's today's Thursday, so I think it's Saturday, I believe. I'm not totally sure, but yeah, full moon of April. A lot of times always full moon will give you the extreme tides, extreme high, extreme low. So right now we're about low tide at about 1 o'clock on Thursday. I have the extreme low now. If I came here at the higher tide, you would see the water would be sort of up there. Kind of see that line back there. Some little tide pools. As I walk down, that's a jetty that's somewhat half buried, starting to get exposed. You saw the jetty I walked through back there before was getting exposed. I was shocked when I just saw this, how much sand has been exposed over, say, just the past, say, month or two since the replenishment was done down here. And we actually had a very, very tranquil winter here on LBI. We had very little surf this winter. Sometimes we'll have winter storm after winter storm. It really wasn't the case. And actually, a couple of those winter storms we had that gave us a lot of the snow. I think the one snowstorm, there was actually no waves from it, which was kind of odd. I always remember we got snowstorms, there's always big surf, always got a little shovel session in, and then got a good surf session in. But that being said, when that tide comes up and we get that northeast blow, that water's gonna be up there. Northeast blow is going to pile that swell in here. It's going to pile that water in here, and we'll have some erosion. I will be willing to bet that any day now, that brand new wooden fence that's over there, little dune fence, that's designed to catch some sand from the wind, will be chewed out and be washing around. It'll probably be all hung up down there on the wooden groin, or further down, or just cruising in the water, waiting for a hazard, an unknown boater to come by and catch a hazard in the water. So that's basically it for now. I will share one thing. FishingLBI.com, fish report blog I do, is up and live. The site is running. However, the back-end admin accessibility is locked up on my side. so I can't update that. I've been dealing with GoDaddy for the better part of about 5 to 6 days, got some server issues. Long story short is the tech people there, they think they know what they're doing, you explain the situation to them, and then they end up screwed up worse, and then you go to a new tech guy, and then next you know it's a salesperson, pay more money, new subscription, migrate to this hosting service, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, going in circles, and finally it sounds like I'm getting somewhere with them. I wish I could just do it myself, but it's sort of in their hands. So if you are looking for an updated fish report, the most updated fish report that I have up there was from April 1st. I wanted to get this video in just the other day, but it was super windy. The other day it was raining. I see rain come tomorrow, so I wanted to kind of parse out a little section of my day here to cruise down the south end, give a little walk, share a little update report with you guys to give you heads up, just to get that updated so there will not be a text report. And I guess if you made it this far, I appreciate you. But I just remembered that I forgot about perch. Perch fishing has been pretty good. I mentioned striped bass. I mentioned tog. Those are kind of the two primaries right now. I mentioned drum are showing up. A couple got caught. I did not mention perch. There's some perch. Normally mid-April is when the lagoons start up, but the river's been very good. Shout out to Dave. I forget his last name, but he stopped in the shop. I saw him the other day. He thanked me for the reports. He's a subscriber and a follower. If you're not a subscriber and a follower, please subscribe, drop your comments below. I appreciate when everybody watches the videos and they share a comment. It says, hey, I've been out fishing, I'm doing great, or I'm doing poor, or little tips and tricks people can share. No one needs to always hear my reports. It's always good to hear some reports from the fellow viewers and followers, so it's great to have a little community there. So feel free to share your reports in the comments below. But Dave stopped in, he said thank you. He was in the shop getting some gear. We talked about some technique specific things, some questions he had. He said he was off to the Mulca River. He got some bloodworms, and he got us some nice perch fish. He sent a photo in, got some nice perch. He got a few of them there. So yeah, it's great to see that the perch are there. Like I said, the local lagoons normally start up around mid-May, so right around now, mid-April, right around now, you should have some action there. Hopefully that only gets better. It should be good. I did not mention anything about winter flounder. I had not heard personally any reports of winter flounder, but now is the best time for winter flounder. April and May are great times to target them in the bay. I'll say for the most part, it's somewhat of like a lost opportunity or lost participation. Barnegat Bay has had a historically very strong winter flounder fishery. Used to be like opening day, kind of call it in the March, April timeframe, everybody would go and say rent boats, take the boats out. They want to get the boats in early for that. For the most part, I'd say that whole gang or participation has faded out or disappeared. I have not heard reports. I have not tried. I'm still trying to get caught up after being out of town for a week with a family funeral thing, but and a little family vacation too. I'm trying to get caught up. So still got tons of stuff to do here at the shop, and got tons of stuff around the house, and tons of stuff to get done on the boat, to get in the water, but hopefully I'll be in the water sometime soon. Got to get some things out of my way, but just like everybody's life, it's always busy, always things get in the way, but you got to make the most out of it. But I wanted to get this report out to you guys here. Appreciate you following along. I'll try to get another updated report, say, I don't know, maybe about a week out. We'll see how things go after this moon. Try to get you an update if something breaks, any kind of good news updates come along. But I will say that if you did not check out store staffer Jared's worm blog, worm ball post. He did a video a couple days ago because we had a lot of questions in regards to worm balls. So if you're not familiar with fishing a worm ball or a worm bag with a mesh, we did a little video there to just show how anglers can get more longevity out of their live bloodworms. Live bloodworms are expensive, and you use a mesh material, a small mesh lightweight fabric. I believe it's called tooling. It's almost like a women's veil, like you'd see on a wedding dress, something like that. It's a very, very thin mesh. I think it's polyester. And you make a little, almost like a little Hershey kiss with a couple bloodworms in there. Sometimes we add, you could add a piece of fish bite. You could add a piece of rag. We suggest fishing freeze-dried Dynabait bloodworms in there as a filler. So you put a couple live bloodworms in there, put a little bit of filler, whether it's a piece of rag with some scent, finessence, clam oil, finessence, cheddar crab oil, any of those are great scents to dump on there. Little filler, like I said, the freeze-dried bloodworm from Dynabait. You wrap that up with a little bit of, say, braided line, some thin monoline, or better yet, ghost cocoon. We sell a very thin elastic bait thread, which is great. You can wrap that up, make a little Hershey kiss, and you put your hook through that, and then you basically have this worm ball. You can also lash that onto a circle hook, because you have to fish circle hooks with bait for striped bass. Lash that up with a little bit of elastic bait thread. Now keep it on the hook. A lot of times you'll catch multiple fish on the same worm ball. You could also fish clams in the same fashion. I know that this idea, it kind of transitioned from the freshwater, say trout and steelhead guys doing the worm sacks. I know I heard some freshwater people that are doing some things like with liver, soft baits like liver for catfish. So we threw up a video on YouTube just the other day, so I'll throw a link to it in the description below so you can check that out. Very, very simple to make. The materials are very cheap. We also have the materials in the shop if you need it. A couple dollars, I think it's $2 or something like that for a pack. You get some mesh, you get a little football of the elastic thread. All you need is a pair of scissors and the bait, you're ready to rock and roll. So hopefully that brings some value to you in terms of tips and tricks for the spring season. If you're not fishing clams yet, it's gonna be kind of clam, hopefully a good clam bite like we had last year. We had a really good run of drum and striped bass off the LBI surf last spring. The spring was better than the fall by far, and clam was the bait. So we'll see how that plays out. And I also will say, sometimes bunker's hard to get, and sometimes you're fishing, say, a vacuum packed frozen bunker, and that bunker can be soft in certain areas. Like the tail piece can be good, the head can be good, but sometimes you try to fish those midsection pieces and they're a little more mushy. That same idea that we're fishing this bait ball, this worm ball with that mesh, using bloodworms, using clam. You can also use bunker, herring, mackerel, what have you. Options are endless. So hopefully that brings some value to you. Once again, it's Greg at Fisherman's Headquarters. Be sure to stop in the shop when you come on the island. We're after the first track on the right-hand side. You can also shop 24/7 at fishermansheadquarters.com. Appreciate everybody following along. Be sure to subscribe. Have a great day.